Hey guys, this is episode 120 of Talk Wrestling here on No DQ and of course YouTube.com. Thank you all for making us the most watched wrestling discussion show on YouTube each and every week. We are #1, baby. I love it. We are between 13 and 14,000 subscribers right now, about halfway there. 14,000 by SummerSlam is of course the goal, so keep plugging away. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody you know. YouTube.com/NoDQCAW. Check us out. Last week we did your viewers' choice questions. That went very, very well, in my not-so-humble opinion. Today we're going to do news. The big news, of course, out of WWE that I didn't talk about last week because I wasn't sure it was legit last week, so I wanted to kind of give it a couple days and see what happened, and now I know for sure it's legit, is the release of Bryan Danielson. And I said that so somberly, like it was a horrible tragedy, didn't I? It is. You know, the fact that he got released over choking Justin Roberts out with a tie, if that is in fact the case, I don't think that reason holds water, and I'll tell you why. You know, it's supposed to be a PG environment in WWE, and then the week after he gets released for, actually the same week he gets released for that incident, the rest of the NXTers commit vehicular manslaughter pretty much. They almost kill Bret Hart in a limo. So, choking a guy with a tie is not PG, but vehicular assault is. Okay. And then, this past Monday night, they turned an announce table over on Cena, and they attacked the boss. Again, it's gang assault. That's not PG. I don't understand where the line is drawn. You know, is the choking thing grounds for release because of what happened with Chris Benoit? Maybe. Just maybe. In any event, he is returning to the Indies. I'll talk about that later as I give my favorite wrestling company a plug, or one of my favorite wrestling companies anyway. Not my favorite, but one of my favorites. My favorite is the company I work for, IWL. Speaking of the NXTers, they all have their official Raw contracts. They are now members of the Raw roster as of Monday night's Raw, as announced by the anonymous GM, who's sending Michael Cole emails every week now instead of having Bret Hart. Apparently, Bret's been relieved as GM due to his injuries, I guess. In reality, he's getting married again, so congratulations to the Hitman. We hope that Bret is happy in life, and we hope he enjoyed his run with WWE. Again, the anonymous GM, I gotta believe whoever's the anonymous GM is behind the attacks by the NXTers in the first place. That's just my opinion. Again, it's my show, it's my opinion, so gotta believe that's the way it's going. Who's it gonna be? You know, again, the finger gets pointed at Michael Cole, not by me necessarily, but by a lot of people I've talked to. He's the one getting the emails, and this guy's anonymous. You know, the fingers are pointing at Cole, and he was praising Miz on NXT as the greatest coach in NXT history. I heard that. I believe it was last week's NXT. I could be wrong. Funny things are happening, people. Also, a fatal four-way. Sheamus became the 100th WWE champion. He is the 100th different reign. Not the 100th man. There's only been 39 different WWE champions, but he is the 100th reign as WWE champion. So congrats to Sheamus on that milestone. And in lesser news, Alicia Fox is the new Divas champion. That's on Raw, of course. And on SmackDown, Rey Mysterio, my favorite person, is the new World Heavyweight Champion. Honestly, a lot of people were expecting me to rant on Rey Mysterio on the show today. And to be honest with you, I don't care. Again, I don't dislike Rey Mysterio. I just dislike the reason for his push. That's all. And I feel that if he didn't appeal to a niche market, which, you know, John Cena appeals to that niche market too, and he gets pushed to the moon, I don't necessarily agree with that either. You know? But he's the man. Well, Sheamus is the man for now. Rey, you know, I don't dislike Rey Mysterio personally. I said I hated him, and that was incorrect. I don't hate anybody, really. But I do dislike the reasons for his push, and I think it's not okay. So I hope he loses the title back to Jack Swagger soon. or to who Big Show, or to, you know, CM Punk, or to whoever. Somebody else. Speaking of WWE news, I said that already once, but I'll do it again. Here on YouTube, WWE has partnered with YouTube. They're going to show full episodes of the TV shows, and as well as classic clips, and as well, that's good English, Jeff. They're going to show classic clips. They're going to show full episodes of Raw and SmackDown, and I believe NXT. I could be wrong. It has happened before. So it'll be cool to see WWE give people more access to their content, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Hopefully this new venture into the internet world will be beneficial for WWE and for the WWE Universe. We'll see. Something that's not so beneficial for WWE is a lawsuit being filed by Owen Hart's widow, Martha Hart. Apparently part of the agreement and the settlement that was reached, whatever it was, 10 years ago now, 9 years ago, whatever it was, is the fact that WWE cannot use Owen Hart's likeness. And if you saw Heart and Soul, that Hart Family anthology, he's all over that thing. If you've seen the commercials for Heart and Soul, he's all over that. So WWE is pissing off the Hart family, at least pissing off Martha. I'm sure the Hart family doesn't give two craps about that, to be honest with you. But Martha is legit pissed, and she's suing the WWE once again for the second time in a decade. So, good luck to Martha, you know. WWE owns the footage. And I don't know what the agreement was reached. It was kept closed. Even Bret said that in his book. Even he didn't know the terms of the settlement. You know? So, I hope it works out amicably to the point where both parties are okay. Batista is making the news. He's headed to Strikeforce is the apparent news. Okay. How old is Batista, Aaron? 40 exactly? Okay. He's 40 years old. He's older than most of these guys that are making headway in MMA right now. And he's going to go into MMA and do his thing. After he's constantly complaining about getting beat up in WWE, he's always injured. He's injury prone. We've seen that more than once. Best of luck, Batista. Best of luck. Let's move on to TNA, shall we? Scott Hall is the big news out of TNA, in my opinion. There's more TNA news, but the big news to me is Scott Hall getting fired because he is a big star still. He's still a name star. Apparently, the arrest that was announced a few weeks ago, or whatever it was, right, not too long after the, not too long before the taping of the band winning the tag team championship, he was arrested for whatever he was arrested for. I don't remember now. I don't even care, and I don't. And that was never related to TNA, apparently, so Scott was let go. And now the band has been stripped of the Tag Team Championships. There's a tournament underway. Machine Guns, please. Machine Guns, please. Or Generation Me. One of those two teams, please. As Scott Hall was fired, somebody else debuted. Tommy Dreamer. No big shock that he debuted at Slammiversary last week. That was one of the big surprises, I guess, even though it really wasn't much of a surprise, in my opinion. And apparently there's an ECW stable that's going to be formed. That's been in the news for weeks and weeks and weeks. There's apparently a program developing between Tommy and Brother Ray, so we'll see how that forms. Speaking of formations, Ric Flair has formed a new Four Horsemen-like stable called Fortune. Himself, AJ Styles, Beer Money, Kazarian, or Kaz, whatever they're calling him now, and Desmond Wolfe. And Flair himself will face J. Ric Flair Lethal at Victory Road. I watched the segment just now. I literally watched this before I started taping the show, of Flair introducing Fortune and Jay Lethal coming out and a subsequent war of words between the two. And Mike Tenay said it best. That was the damnedest thing I've ever seen. I've been watching wrestling now for 20 years. And that was one of those things where you just can't help watch it. It's like a car wreck or a train wreck. You just sit there and you're just mesmerized, I guess is the word. I couldn't believe it. And it just kept going and going and going. I finally had to turn it off so I could start taping the show because I was laughing so hard that I would probably not be able to get through this show today. So thank you, TNA, for causing another train wreck in the world of wrestling. Another thing that kind of struck me as weird, Abyss, after all this time and being Hogan's #1 Hulkamaniac and whatever, has turned heel. He attacked Jeff Hardy and Mr. Anderson. Okay. Is this going to lead to a Hogan-Abyss match? And why, if it is? Why is Hogan going to be put in the ring? Why? There's no need for that. Please tell me this is not going to happen. Again, I love the Hulk. My favorite of all time. Does not belong in the ring anymore. Does not belong. At all. And of course, Roxy lost her match against Madison Rayne for the Knockouts Championship, so she is gone from TNA again after being back for a few weeks. Why is TNA turning to WWE? Again, they are copying another thing that WWE is doing, which is getting rid of all their good worker wrestlers, women-wise, and keeping the pretty faces that can't work with the shit. Lacey Von Erich. She's Kerry Von Erich's daughter. Still, the fact that she's still a Von Erich is like, what? I know none of them were alive to train her except Kevin, but come on, y'all. She was in the WWE system. She could have been trained better. I don't know. I don't understand why she sucks so bad, but she does. I mentioned earlier that Bryan Danielson's returning to the Indies. He's going to be at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, which is coming up on July 30th. My lovely Jade's birthday. I'll be missing the show, but Aaron will be there to fill me in on everything, I'm sure. Bryan's returning to PWG then. July 31st, Millennium Pro Wrestling makes its return after last month's show, which I missed. I'll probably be at MPW on the 31st. I know the NWA Champion of the World, Adam Pearce, is going to be there. I know Aaron's going to be there. I hope to be there. Ring of Honor is still going strong. Again, I still haven't watched Ring of Honor, but I will try. Now it's on YouTube, and I know it's on YouTube, and I actually have access to a computer every once in a while. Yeah, both my computers are just messed up. It's just an awful thing. So we'll keep tabs on indies for you. I mentioned, thank you, Aaron, for taking off the YouTube off the UFC opening. But I will talk about UFC for a second. Brock Lesnar, of course, has his big championship match coming up on July 3rd against Shane Carwin, title for title, I guess, if you want to call it that, because Shane's the interim champion. A lot of people that I've talked to are telling me that Shane is going to eat Brock for breakfast. But I got to believe that Brock has been sitting here off camera and out of the spotlight, festering and just waiting for his moment to return, waiting for, I guess, the opportunity to strike, and he's been watching as Shane Carwin has won his championship, and I think that Brock is just going to come in and just pound the crap out of Carwin. Just my opinion. It'll be a good fight, but in the end, Brock will win. He won't pound the crap out of him. That's a little much. But Brock will retain the championship and become the undisputed UFC champion. That'll do it for this week of Talk Wrestling. Thank you all again for making us the #1 watch wrestling discussion show on YouTube. I appreciate that. We will see you next time on Talk Wrestling. Talk Wrestling.